Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Tone-Based streaming live from a conference. I am in Mallorca. This is Blockchain Days Mallorca. Pretty cool little conference on an island. The attendance will be similar to what we have over in Voltar. Expected. It's about 100 people here, which is not bad for a conference out in difficult to get to destination. I hope my microphone is, hope you guys hear me okay. I'm working with one monitor and no assistance, so I hope it works. I like streaming from, walkable side. I see Gideon right behind me. Maybe we can do some interviews. Hey, Gideon, why don't you have a seat, man? I'm going to be looking at the camera behind me. People are going to be wondering about the price of Bitcoin, but we also want to interview some people here. I see you swipe the sandwich. It's in your pocket.
Of course, it's cheese.
All right, let's get this kind of close. Hey, keep us posted on the audio, guys. I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on that. Also, do my best to keep an eye on your questions. So, Gideon, tell my audience who you are, where you're from, and what you are up to in this space.
I'm Gideon from the Blockchain Hotel in Germany. We offer workshops, seminars, conferences, meetups. Can you hear me?
Blockchain Hotel right there. Yellow
Blockchain
card.
Hotel,
You have
exactly.
a card? Where's your card?
Of course,
I'll have your card.
And
I have your somewhere.
we have also a discount for the
Oh no,
people
you
who
I
want
don't know.
to
You
join.
sure you want to do that here? Huh? I know what I'm gonna
got
do.
one.
I know what I'm gonna do. All right,
This
let's
one.
let's do that. So that's the conference.
It's public. It's okay. You can share it.
No, the discount code's public, so
Yeah,
everyone
of
can
course,
use
share
it.
it.
All right, my audience only. All right, I don't know what
You can get a special
there you
later.
go. Check it out.
Tone base.
The
You
tone
can,
base. Maybe you have an extra 5%.
Tone base give 5% in addition to this.
Yeah. So Blockchain Hotel, I spoke at your conference about 2 years ago.
2016,
The very
I think,
first
the first
one, I
one,
believe,
exactly.
right? It's in Essen, Germany. Pretty cool space. I was there with Thomas Hunt, Theo Goodman. We had a hell of a time. Man, it was I met Nindy from
Powwow, yeah.
Powwow Group. Yeah, it was great. All right, so tell us about the Blockchain Hotel. You guys have been around for like good 3 years now. So what's going on? How is it working?
I
Let's
think
come into the camera a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
I myself came into crypto 2013.
Maybe a little louder.
One
No,
second.
just speak a little bit louder.
Okay.
You have your mic, but like, yeah.
And we also host one of the major German P2P exchanges. It's bitcointreff.de. And the Blockchain Hotel itself, as I said, we offer workshops, conferences, meetups, and we try to bring community together. And yeah, that's what we are doing. End of May is our next conference.
Yeah, next conference is end of May. Is it before or after consensus?
It's after consensus, I think 2 weeks. 1 week after Malta, yeah.
Oh, okay, so 1 week.
So consensus, Malta, Germany. Should be the right way.
Gotcha. All right, very, very cool. All right, what else is going on? How is the crypto scene in Germany going?
It grows slowly but sure. Germans are very scared of new technologies and new stuff, and the regulation is very hard in Germany. We have no single ATM here, for example. If you go to Switzerland or Austria, you have dozens, hundreds of ATMs, and in Germany we have a kind of banking license that you need for this stuff. It's very, very difficult to run a blockchain business there. That's why we focused on workshops and meetups and conferences here.
All right, very cool. All right, anything else going on? Anything else you want to add?
Again, please?
Anything else you want to say?
No, not for now.
All right.
I need a beer.
All right, cool.
See you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Hey, so those of you in Germany or want to go to Germany, check out the Blockchain Hotel event. Like I said, I spoke there 2 years ago. Haven't been able to make it out there due to scheduling, but it was a pretty cool event. So good luck to you on that.
See you.
Thank you. All right, let's see if we can get anyone else. Other than that, I will put the second microphone on me and we'll go and take a look at the price. We have about 200 people watching. So let's check out the price of Bitcoin. Let me close. All right, wait, well, hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta, man, I hate not having my portable monitor on me. It's always creates a bit of an issue. Okay, let's um, let's jump over to screen share here. So this is where I am right now. The conference is called Mallorca Blockchain Days, and I'm still looking into what's going on. I'm off to Cairo, Egypt after this, and I'm checking out what I'm going to do there. It'll be fun. Understanding Bitcoin. Please check out the conference in Malta, now about 8 days away or something like that. Added one more speaker. We have Jonas Nick coming to us. We're going to have all the pictures very soon. It'll be a lot of fun. Understanding Bitcoin, check that out. Then head on over to tonebase.com to check out my travel schedule. If you see anyone, oh, actually, I'm not looking at the live chat, so if you see someone interesting behind me, oh, I think I see someone. Hey, want to say hi on the live stream? Oh boy, here comes trouble. Mr. Dupree, have a seat. Clip that onto you. All right. Let me stop screen share. We'll get the price in a second, guys. So with us is one of the OGs from the Bitcoin world and founder of EasyBit, Mr. Dupree, wearing the old shirt from Bitcoin Not Bombs.
Absolutely. We love those guys.
All right, so tell us what you've been up to in the space. You seem to be, every time I talk to you, you're living in a new jurisdiction.
Well, I've been hanging out in Malta a lot. There's a lot of blockchain stuff going on over there and just kind of playing around. We're launching some more ATMs in Spain and Barcelona right now and trying to get those online. And, yeah.
Very cool. And you were spending a lot of time in Estonia before that?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in Estonia at the Bitcoin Castle, but last summer it burned down. So I don't know if we'll be frequenting as often over to Estonia anymore.
I know, man. It's like I gotta get to some of these spots before Bitcoiners really start partying in them.
Yeah, burn them down.
Right,
Exactly.
because and you were in Bali as well.
Yeah, I go to Bali every year. Try to at least.
So what do you see from this whole nomad geographical location? Where to start your companies? Where to build your companies? Where is Bitcoin needed most?
I think that's a pretty tricky question, but everywhere I travel to, and I travel full time, everywhere people know about Bitcoin now. Everyone's starting to use it, hear about it, and know it more and more. There's over 4,000 Bitcoin ATMs now in the world, which is way, way up, double what we had last year. So it's just magic how everywhere we go these days, Bitcoin is something and it's still around, and everybody of different languages and different countries and different industries is starting to use it, starting to learn about it and become involved.
So EasyBit is like this ATM onboarding process?
EasyBit is a company that operates ATM machines. So we usually buy the machines and we find locations and we operate them. We're in 18 different countries right now and we're still growing. Our primary market is the United States.
Okay, so what kind of, so tell my audience, who would you like to be contacting EasyBit if they have ATMs, if they manufacture ATMs, if they want to put an ATM in the store, who should reach out in the ATM space for EasyBit to help them get it off the ground?
Yeah, sure. You guys can just go to our website or send us an email, and we're happy to help people who have a location that want a Bitcoin ATM. We're happy to help people that are trying to invest in Bitcoin ATMs, and we can even turn you on to people that are just flat outright selling ATMs in case you want one that you want to operate yourself. But that's not usually our core business. Our core business is more the operations.
All right, very cool. And which areas of the world do you see expanding their ATM networks, and which areas do you see contracting their ATM networks?
I don't see any networks that are contracting really, except for if you were to look in, I think in Poland, they did something where the regular bank ATMs now can all accept and sell
Really?
Bitcoins. So when you have something like when you have something like that happen, then you no longer need to have a $10,000 specialized machine just to buy and sell Bitcoin.
For sure.
When you can do it through the regular bank ATMs. But so far as explosive growth, I would say that in all the markets we represent, that in Philippines and in Vietnam are probably the two countries we operate in where we see the most growth currently. South America has also really been chugging along. We've got some machines in Chile and Argentina, and those are both doing really, really well. In the United States, I wouldn't say that the market is contracting, but there's more and more users. There's just more and more Bitcoin ATMs being deployed faster than adoption is. So you're seeing decrease in profitability on ATMs in the United States, but that's mainly only due to the fact that the market is saturated and there's lots of other ways you can buy Bitcoin now other than just through ATMs.
All right, so one last question, then we'll let you go. Which jurisdiction would you say have the highest spread on the buying and selling Bitcoin through the ATM network, and which ones have a pretty efficient spread?
In general, when you look at Vietnam and Philippines and these Asian countries, the money transmission is very, very, very competitive. So in those countries, you're looking at sometimes 4%, 5% total fee. You have to remember that manufacturers of these ATMs are taking anywhere from 1% to 2% of every transaction. Plus, there's price volatility risks. You have to pay the locations, this kind of thing. So at 5%, it's really
pretty
low,
competitive, yeah.
Really low margin. The highest margins would be in the United States, where on average we charge around 20%. And the reason that we haven't really lowered that price is because we don't want to get into a big price war with all the other operators and such. It's still a very small market. There's still a lot. It's more important that these companies are able to thrive and to buy more machines and to get more ATMs out there and to bring Bitcoin to more people than it is to try and be super price competitive at this point. So yeah, lowest prices in the world, you're looking at 3 or 4%, maybe 5%. And highest spreads in the world, you're looking at around 20%, which is namely in the United States. There's also some funny things going on, I think, in Georgia or something, in one of these little countries there where they are doing it almost at spot because it's actually, so in some countries it actually costs money to import money. In those kind of countries, Bitcoin sells usually at a below a premium because the people are trying to move money into the country and not out of it. So that's where you'll see different prices.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not always just a matter of simple spread. It's also a matter of, yeah, and the spread is mainly dictated based upon what the banks are charging us to handle the cash. So 99% of our business with the Bitcoin ATMs is people putting money in, not taking money out. So they're putting in money, they're getting Bitcoin out. And so we end up at the end of the day with a pile of cash. And if you take this pile of cash to the bank every day and try to deposit it, it doesn't take long before they start asking you a bunch of questions and then decide they don't want to do business with you. So I think that's why you see in Vietnam the prices are much less, because the banks there are actually willing to work with the Vietnamese Bitcoiners and Vietnamese Bitcoin exchanges more so than in the United States.
Excellent. And you know what? I always think of other questions because other than the Bitcoin space, you've been somewhat involved in the cannabis space as well.
Yep.
So what are the similarities you can draw between the two spaces?
I think they're both just very similar in the capacity that they're kind of gray areas. When you look at the medical marijuana industry and just the legalization industry as a whole, that in the beginning it was just similar to Bitcoin, a bunch of people trying to get out there and legalize pot and this kind of thing. And now you've got legal marijuana in half of the United States approximately, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that's growing every year. And I think Bitcoin is very similar. I think when we started Bitcoin, we had a group of kind of some really nerdy computer geeks that were getting involved in this and thought it was really cool. And it took a few years for the rest of the world to kind of catch on. It was the same thing with the medical marijuana movement and the marijuana movement. So I find that they're very similar in the freedom fighting, get our governments and our banks out of our money, or for the marijuana case, get our governments out of our medicine. Same kind of fighting.
All right, and what do you think is next for you? We'll let you go here.
Only time will tell there, so we will see. But hey, always good to see you, Tom.
All right, excellent. Always a pleasure, man. You and I met, I believe, in Miami, down at like the 2015 TNABC.
Yep.
And I kept in touch ever since.
Or maybe, was it 2015 or 2014 was the first one?
Probably 2015. 2015. It was in January. So you always think that it's 2014 because the year just ended, right? But yeah, it was that one. It was at the end of it was at the worst point in the bear market, that January 2015 time.
I tried to forget.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. Well,
thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
I'll take that off for you and enjoy the conference. You got your little presentation coming up soon.
All right. Thanks, man.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right. Let me glance at the charts. If I see anyone else interesting walking by in the corner of my eye, I will bring that to you guys as well. Let's go back to screen share. All right, so over at tonebase.com, please check out the Tonebase calendar. It will keep you up to date on everywhere I am traveling to. You can also register for the workshops on the workshop tab. Cairo is coming up, then we have Malta, and then I'm in the US for a week. Then I'm in Mexico, and then I'm in the US for a week again, and then it's back to Europe, Rome, Amsterdam, Berlin, and then probably a few other places. If you want to support my work, check out the affiliate page. If you want to educate yourself on trading, check out the educational section. And if you want to buy a t-shirt or other cool Tonebase sponsored things, and we will bring you a lot more soon, please check out the store. All right, price. Let's take a look at the price. Oh boy, Josh, have a seat, Josh. I'm going to talk about the price before my own audience flies to Mallorca and kills me, but I'm going to do this real quick, and right after that, we will, you know what, I'm going to put that right there. And right after that, we will have a little bit of a chat. You know what? I gotta move my camera over a little bit, and I may have to raise it because it's Josh, who is 8 feet tall. All right, let's take a really quick peek at the price because I haven't looked at the price in a while. This is the monthly chart, not really moving all that much. Another look at the monthly chart. I am now a believer that we can make it to a $5,000 Bitcoin. We can set up a bull trap before the actual, capitulation begins. I think there needs to be a lot more despair, a lot more pain, a lot more understanding what a shitcoin is before we can finally recover into a bull market. Keep you posted on that. The weekly chart remains in a bullish posture. We have a little doji candle. We still can't break the high of the February 18th. It's been over a month since we reached that $4,200 high for the second time. I believe we will get there again. I still believe we can make it to the 30-week moving average before the price reverses. Looking at the live chat, we're still okay. Yeah, the price hasn't changed all that much at all. Here's the daily chart. The daily chart is currently on a 9. That is not sticking as a 9. We still have a few hours to go. We have half a day to go. It's only 9 a.m. in New York. I believe today is Saturday. And I have no idea who played in the NCAA tournament yesterday. I was too busy here with the conference. And there was no live stream, so I couldn't bring you my presentation. Stick around. Stick around. Yeah, I got an interview. We're going to do an interview. We're live streaming. All right, so stick around. Looks like I will be bringing you guys some cool interviews. And the 12-hour chart, nothing interesting. The 1-hour chart, we did have this big 1-hour drop. We are now going back up. We're stuck under the moving average. If we can close above this moving average, and then in the next 4 hours start to trade higher, I do think we're gonna make it back to the high. I am not yet worried so far. So far, all Bitcoin did was have one bad hour with absolutely no follow through over the next day and a half. This is not something to be scared of. We have now multiple supports between the moving average and the setup trend line. I am expecting us to break out to the upside. I'm still looking at $5,000. Not going to talk about this. Not going to talk about GBTC. It's the weekend. Not going to talk about the mining profitability today. And gold, not trading over the weekend. Gold closed strong this week. Totally unexpected by me. But I'm still very skeptical gold can break the highs of a few weeks ago. I did not even know the S&P 500 tanked on Friday. Obviously, those that understand the TD sequential saw the 9, saw the aggressive 13 on the same day. You should have been very, very careful. That was a horrible day on Friday. I would no way in hell I'd be holding Bitcoin into the weekend. I think I might have said I would be holding Bitcoin into the weekend if Friday closed positive. Friday was a complete disaster. So no way I'd be holding it. That is a horrible reversal candle right there. If you understand how to trade the sequential, you are out of the stock market. This is actually worrying me quite a bit. I would be nervous going into Monday. There's no way in hell I'd be holding S&P 500 into the weekend. So sorry I couldn't warn you, but I had no idea the market even tanked until I just looked at it. All right, that's it for me on the price. Let's stop the screen share. Let's bring in Josh of Voltar. You've been on my channel before, man. If you Googled the old World Crypto Network episodes, you were one of my first on the record episodes when we were talking about Voltar. I'm happy you guys are still around.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do and how's business?
Oh, well, we're a Bitcoin physical gold exchange. We allow people to trade between Bitcoin and physical gold and back. So it's a great hedge against volatility without being in touch with the banks. So you don't need to touch a bank. Gold is fully insured, fully audited by BDO International. We've been around since 2015, never been hacked, and that's always a good thing.
We'll get back to that. I have a perfect question for you, but I'll save it for later. Go on.
Okay. And yeah, we're now securing an equity round again, so that's been fun doing that. Talking to VCs, we're already venture backed, so it's a next round for us. But
so you guys don't really touch fiat, right? It's Bitcoin in, converted to gold. If you're worried about Bitcoin volatility, converted from gold into Bitcoin.
Right.
If you feel that it's a speculative Bitcoin play usually, or you prefer to hodl the Bitcoin, you hold on to the people's physical gold in gold safes for people across multiple jurisdictions, or just in Switzerland?
Currently, it's just in Switzerland. It's a high security, top tier vaulting facility. It's one of the largest in Europe, run by Pro Aurum, so not by us. It's not a safe; it's a vault, but we are looking to open more jurisdictions so that if people feel that Switzerland isn't safe and they would rather hold it in Hong Kong for some reason, then, because a lot of Chinese,
I believe Singapore is pretty good as well.
Singapore's pretty good.
So what jurisdictions are you looking at for safe geographical gold storage? Hong Kong, Singapore, what else?
Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and that's kind of.
Australia has pretty good private property laws for something like gold storage.
It's.
Or is it because you're familiar with Australia from your Australian?
It's not only that; it's got a very strong mining sector.
Oh, that's
true.
A
lot of people are very interested.
I didn't factor that in. That is correct.
So but what I find interesting is that these jurisdictions will have an arbitrage between gold prices depending on what people feel is more secure. And but in terms of, I like asking insurance companies what they believe. Because they really understand statistics, so it's an interesting play. But I feel that the reason why we went with gold is because it can be audited, counted, and it can't be shut down. Gold can be owned by you, whereas if you're in a fiat exchange, that fiat is pooled for one account, and usually most crypto exchanges, they have their fiat accounts shut down at some stage, and in the background they're trying to scramble. In that time, they're running into a Ponzi scheme. And usually, hopefully, they come back by getting a new bank account and transferring it, but sometimes they don't. And we saw that in the Mt. Gox collapse.
All right, interesting. So I always have a million questions for you, man. So
smash me, man.
So here's the thing, right? So you have to manage gold security, and you have to manage Bitcoin security.
Yeah. Well,
which one scares you more when you go to bed?
Bitcoin security. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is that Bitcoin can actually be secured very well, very, very well. Multi-signature, when that got released years ago, it really brought Bitcoin orders of magnitude closer to a very, very secure system. Before that, you had just wallet.dat files that you had to back up every X number of addresses, and these sorts of HD wallets really helped us out as well as multi-sig. So, but yeah, it is scary. I always promote it, even though we run an exchange, we always ask people, hey, use us to buy gold and go back out and spend it. Hold your crypto at home. It's much, or in your mechanism in your wallets. Hold your own keys. Very, very important.
All right, and also you had mentioned a couple of very interesting things on stage. I moderated a panel on gold and crypto, in that another reason why you want multiple gold jurisdictions is that if one gold jurisdiction starts to get a little more tyrannical with their potential gold confiscations, you would see that through your network, where people can easily sell the gold in that jurisdiction, convert it into Bitcoin, and then move that Bitcoin instantly into gold in another jurisdiction. Yeah. But then how are you hedging the gold in that jurisdiction?
The thing is that we use like LBMA approved gold. This is a very liquid product. Most people don't know that gold is the second most liquid market in the world under the FX market. So you can, if you've got LBMA approved gold, which has never seen the day of the sun, basically, it goes from the mine to the smelter to the vault and sits there, and it trades, settles different ownership, and the thing is, if you can move that really quickly out, there's always a buyer. If something's getting tyrannical, there will be a buyer on the other side saying, no, it's not. This is way, there's an arbitrage. It's way cheaper now in this country where there's speculation that it might get tyrannical. There'll be buyers. They're buying it up cheap.
Right. And very often that works, right? We saw that with Tether. When there was a panic in Tether for what may or may not be any reason, the price of Tether, which is supposed to be 1-to-1 to the US dollar, dropped 15%. Anyone that bought up that Tether was able to redeem it over $1 Bitcoin because it swung like $1.02 above. So that's like 15% arbitrage. If you were willing to take a risk, that Tether is going to bounce back to 1-to-1, and it did that within a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, Tether is extremely scary because they're holding 2 bank accounts, $2 billion sitting in, I think they're Malaysian.
That we suspect that may or may not be true.
May or may not.
But the concept is the same.
The concept's the same, but the thing is, again, if there's one bad actor that goes on the dark market, buys something really dodgy, and the police swoop in and say, hey, where's this value represented? Oh, it's represented in this bank account. Just a matter of freezing that whole bank account, and the entire ecosystem drops. That's why Bitcoin's really good. That's why allocated gold is really good, because all they can do is take a bad actor's single bar that's owned. They can't shut down the whole vaulting facility.
Gotcha. All right, Josh. Wait. I have another question for you. I always come up with a question at the end. So at the top of the bull market, like going into the end of 2017, you actually saw a large amount of users on your platform start to convert their Bitcoin into gold. I mean, these were the non-greedy people, right? So you were probably, and you were, like you said, you were wondering, what is really going on here? So are there any trends that you can identify right now? Are people starting to convert more gold back into Bitcoin? Do they feel that Bitcoin has sufficiently fallen? What are you seeing from your data?
No, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to jump back into crypto. A lot of people are still holding. We've reached out to customers to ask what their opinion is on the market. And generally, some of these people that converted to gold at that height are saying, I think it's going to go lower. So I'm going to
What's going to go lower? Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
So they're still hodling gold.
Yeah, but they're slowly diversifying back out. So they're not just going everything out. So it's one of these things where there's some people that think we're hit the bottom, and it's a marketplace. So, and this is also important, and what makes us different is that there's thousands of people bidding and asking against each other. It's not just us as a central counterparty. Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting time, and I think you mentioned that they weren't greedy, but I would say that they were greedy because they wanted to take profits off the table, and that was an interesting time. We have the second largest gold supply in Europe, in the whole of Europe, and they couldn't keep up with the amount of demand we were sending them at that stage. So it was really a crazy moment in crypto history in terms of physical gold. But yeah.
All right. One more question. So are you able to provide maybe some kind of a statistic on the percentage of your hodlers on your platform that are hodling Bitcoin versus hodling gold? Or is that too sensitive of information?
No. It's a hard one for us to determine because, like I said, we promote that people don't hold Bitcoin. A lot of people do on our platform because we've been secure for so many years, but nothing's ever happened. But we ask people to not secure their Bitcoin with us. Don't use us as a wallet. If you want to trade, come. So it's kind of hard to tell if they're holding more in the back end.
So you encourage people to take the Bitcoin off of your platform.
Yeah, if you're going to put it on, and we have instant order functions. So this works really well with the Lightning Network. You can send Bitcoin and it instantly converts to gold. So you don't need to trust our hot wallet also.
Have you been able to get insurance on the Bitcoin holdings that you have for people?
This is something that we're working on very, very for a few years. It's hard to get someone to underwrite it because they need to come in and have auditing procedures. The biggest challenge is to say that this is a standard for securing Bitcoin. That underwriters still don't have a global standard or a countrywide standard where they're based of, okay, they need to have a specific, and actually Andreas Antonopoulos set up a standard, an ISO for exchanges, but I think it needs more needs more promotion. That standard is around. But this is a very, very important step for the whole industry to get underwriters to secure Bitcoin, to insure Bitcoin. I'm sorry. So,
all right, cool. Thank you so much. I'm keeping an eye on the questions. I don't really see all that much. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and doing a quick interview. I'm going to go back to the charts until I keep looking around, looking for other interesting people to interview. Let's see who we can get as they are moving around.
Question for you: has Bitcoin become a stable coin? You know, over the last few weeks.
And in my life, Bitcoin's been a stable coin. I continue to denominate in Bitcoin as I get more and more poor with the price of Bitcoin being so low. We'll see where that goes. Thanks, Josh. All right, that was Josh of Volturo. Go ahead and check out Volturo. I've interviewed Josh in the past. Very, very cool guy. All right, so what are we doing? Let's see some of your questions, guys. Maybe I can bring you some more interesting people. I could interview the ladies behind me, but that will probably end badly. I really don't care about Raven Coin, so I certainly don't care about looking at its chart. Yeah, the presentation started. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep the video rolling. I'm curious what movie they're playing in there, and because that's what I'm hearing. I'll be right back, and I'll try to grab somebody else for an interview. Camera's rolling. Yeah, it's Aaron Kinning in there playing some kind of a cartoon video. But we'll get you guys more interesting interviews. All right, guys, I got a couple of people. All right. Let me take a look at your live stream. Yes, I'm getting like crazy comments about the belt. It's just a cool belt, guys. It's not that important. All right, yeah, I may have to interview the girls behind me since no one else is walking over. You know, I asked like 3 people. Tone, do you see the low volume as a bullish sign? I don't, but I also don't see it as a bearish sign. I don't really see a big volume correlation right now. So it's neither bullish nor bearish. Right, I've attached the microphone, so I need to hold one. All right, I have a question. What are your numbers for a price-based correction versus a time-based correction now that you're over a year into the, now that we're over a year into the bear market. So my maximum time correction was always into October of this year. I really hope that doesn't get extended. If we don't finish the bear market by October of this year, it gets very, very bad and very, very ugly. So my time correction, my maximum time was October of this year. My price correction was 1300, so we're still heading that way. Have a seat, sir.
No surprise.
All right, let's clip that on. Perfect. There we go. All right. Tell us your name, what you do in the space, what your company does, and what brought you to crypto. We'll start there.
Well, yes, my name is Reinhard Bochen, and I'm heading a small refinery in Hamburg, Germany, a small precious metals refinery. And we mainly work for goldsmiths and provide raw metals, raw materials, half ready-made products, everything basically that the goldsmith needs to make a marvelous piece of jewelry. And yeah, what's brought me to the space? Basically, it's a product. It's a product that I tried to set up already a couple of years ago, and that I couldn't really find a ledger for, a database for, that would prove the authenticity of the single product. And a couple of years later, I found out that I should have had that distributed ledger for Bitcoin already at that time. Now I'm getting deeper into the space, trying to learn more to connect my idea with all the technology that has been developed since.
So are you already utilizing Bitcoin's itself, Bitcoin's ledger? Are you already utilizing the blockchain and cryptos in your business, or it's still exploratory and you yourself is just, a little bit of a Bitcoin hodler as you're trying to understand the space?
I'm not even a big Bitcoin hodler. I'm rather a gold hodler. But the few Bitcoins that I'm accumulating on a regular basis, like buying some Bitcoins every other week to accumulate it to reduce the price risk as well over a longer period of time, is a small amount. So I'm a gold hodler, I guess. And I like to develop a future vision of the company, and I'm already busy doing that, involving the blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. But at the moment, we are a pretty archaic company, working with old tools, with company members and employees that have been with the company for 15 years, some of them. And it's a 100-year-old company, and it takes a lot of time to transform it actually into the new world. That we don't want to become a company that only stores metals for people who have never even touched the metal that they've bought.
Interesting. So you store it for them as well?
Well, we store metals for professionals.
Professionals.
But only for professionals in our case.
So you guys don't really deal with retail investors? Not really.
We're small scale people. We're raw metal people, small scale thinkers as well. And of course you can buy, as you saw earlier on the panel, we can provide strange forms of precious metals products, but we don't think in the tons. No.
Okay, so you've been in the precious metal space for a long time.
8 years now, 10 years almost.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you see Bitcoin potentially disrupting the financial side of gold? Well, I think you get my question.
I know where you want to get, yes. Well, there's a lot of fraud around gold.
Really? I thought you were going to say a lot of fraud around the crypto space, which,
no. I'm starting with gold. I'm starting with gold, and I think we'll find a bridge. But there's a lot of bars around that are actually tungsten.
Of course,
which,
yes.
has the same weight in gold, and you can cover it with gold, and then the ordinary investor would never find out until he starts cutting it up or bringing it to a professional. And this is why the passing on of gold from one period to the other has some critical aspects, as the trust, for example, that you have to have in someone that gives you a bar of gold. I think the crypto space in general, as you laid it out as well in your talk, has some currencies that are very trustworthy and that people believe in, and a lot of other coins that have basically gotten on the train, but that will never succeed. And I think that's the same issue as in the gold market. There's some products, gold products, that are very valuable and that are very sustainable as well, and that keep their value and that people keep their trust in. But there's a lot of products as well, for example, as gold-based coins. Why would we have to have that? For example, if you have the gold, you have what is most important.
All right. Anything else you want to add to the live stream? Anything else you want to say? Go for it.
Basically, I've seen some of your appearances on your YouTube channel. I've never assisted in the live stream. I'm a little surprised, and I kind of jumped this opportunity, seized this opportunity, and I've never done this before ever. As I said, we're a very archaic company, and I'm a very let's say, normal guy who doesn't really spend that much time on the web. But hi, everybody. My biggest vision actually was to have every single person on earth to have 1 gram of gold or a fraction of it. And if we manage to gain that goal for cryptocurrencies, or maybe even for Bitcoin, so that every person in the world has at least a single fraction of Bitcoin, I think then we'll not have a big problem with the development that are on a local base, even maybe more useful for small scale or small communities, small even companies among each other.
All right, thank you so much. And the name of your company again is?
The name of the company is Schiefer. Schiefer, which is Schiefer.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Oh, watch out. There we go. We got the line. All right. Let's see if you guys have any more questions for us as I try to spot people walking around that we can also interview. Someone's saying interesting action right now on price. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt there's anything interesting happening with Bitcoin price. People say it's interesting, and then I look and nothing's going on. So here's the hourly chart. The new hour just started. We are dropping below one level of support. We are in a red 4 below a red 5. This actually is a little bit interesting. We are about to cross the prior swing lows, and that would be bad, but this hour needs to close there. If this hour closes below setup trend line, that could be something. And you're right, this is very interesting. I would not be long Bitcoin right now as a short-term trader. If I was trading the hourly chart, I would already be completely out of it. In fact, this is looking like a very short-term short. This rarely happens that on a live stream we have this situation. While we were between these moving averages, it was interesting. Right now, let's keep an eye on this. A close below setup trend line is pretty damn bearish on the hourly scale. And if we start to approach these lows of 3,900, then the $5,100 bull trap once again needs to be taken off the table. Until that happens, the 5,100 bull trap is on the table. I still believe that over the next 24 hours, we should go back to 4,000 and above. But it's very easily proven wrong by simply closing below 39.50 and opening up a little bit lower on the following candle. That completely kills this idea. But until that happens, I remain optimistic, but I can turn pessimistic very, very quickly. All right, let me see if I find someone else for an interview. They're back. I wish I had someone here helping me, get people for interviews, but one-man show. All right. Hey guys, and we are back. All right, I got a microphone here. That's the shorter one. That's the longer one. There we go. Okay, wait. There you go. Perfect. All right. And we are with Alicia. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the stream. And tell us your name, what you do in the space, and how long have you been in the crypto space?
Okay, hi guys, I'm Alessandra Singh, and I'm interested into those topics already for about 3 to 4 years. I have an economic background, and well, right now it's mainly about learning, getting inspired from guys, for example, such as Toon, and yes, it's amazing here at the Mallorca Blockchain Days. A lot of really top speakers.
All right, and you're enjoying the conference so far.
Yeah,
You've been helping
amazing.
out with the organization as well,
Yes,
so
exactly.
you didn't get a chance to watch all of the presentations, but you saw some of mine, which is awesome. And you split your time between Austria and Mallorca.
Yes.
And so what company are you affiliated with in the space?
I'm working as a freelancer in that kind of space, and sometimes as a consultant, sometimes in sales. It depends on the approach. It depends on what I'm interested in.
Right. And so what have you seen from the crypto space between Austria and here in Mallorca? How present is the crypto space here in Mallorca?
In Mallorca, it is good, it is great. Of course, you can't compare it to Austria. Austria is a little bit bigger. There's more in terms of startups, more in terms of fintech companies, development.
All right. And what about Austria? What do you attend crypto meetups in Austria as well when you go back?
There's a lot of going on in Austria, particularly in Vienna, in the startup scene. And right now, of course, STOs are a big issue, and also EAOs. And Austria is one of the countries with the most Bitcoin ATMs, for example.
Have you used those yet?
Yes, of
You've
course.
used the Bitcoin ATM. Okay, so you have some Bitcoin that you're hodling.
Not only Bitcoin, yeah, but yes.
Okay. Do we want to go there? Do you want to tell our audience what other cryptocurrencies you find interesting?
There are a lot of cryptocurrencies I find interesting. My approach to that kind of currencies is I try to spread them. So not only one, better 10, better 20, and on different stock exchanges, different wallets to make sure.
All right, we're gonna. Okay, so what do I have to do to convince you to be more of a Bitcoin maximalist? You saw part of my presentation. Am I convincing you to sell the altcoins and go into Bitcoin? Am I getting close?
I like your arguments, but I'm still convinced also on the future of the other altcoins. Bitcoin is strong, Bitcoin is great.
All right, Alessandra, anything else you'd like to say for the live stream viewers?
Well, and enjoy the live stream, and I wish you a great time here at the Mallorca Blockchain Days.
All right, thank you. All right, I got it. All right, well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being brave in coming onto the Tone-Based YouTube channel. Few dare to do it. All right, guys, brought you another interview. We'll try and get you some more people. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. So when I was looking at the price of Bitcoin, I actually did not pull up a live stream, a screenshot. Here's the screenshot of that. This is not a good looking candle right now. We are looking at the live price of Bitcoin on the hourly chart. We still have 34 minutes to go. If we close below the setup trend line, if we close below both moving averages, which are on pace to give you a depth cross, that creates a little bit of a problem here for the bullish case of Bitcoin going towards $5,000. I would not like it. What you don't want is, this is an hourly chart. You don't want multiple candles closing below this blue moving average line. You only had one candle close below it 2 days ago, and then we went back above it. Now, if this candle closes below it and the next candle fully trades below it, that is a big, big, big problem. And I am going to be keeping an eye on this. Let me see if I can get you another person, another victim to interview. All right, guys, we are back. Boom. We are back with more interviews here in Mallorca from Blockchain Days. Sir, I watched your presentation earlier. Tell my audience your name, what you do in the space, where you're from, what you do in the space, and we take it from there. I like the haircut. I wish I had time to shave mine, but mine is already starting to look like my old cut, so I have to get mine shaved.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Arno Pfefferling, and I gave today a presentation about sidechain solutions and if it's bringing more privacy. It was actually after your presentation, so it was really nice and a pleasure. Tonio brought up 2 points, like which will make Bitcoin great again: scalability, fungibility, and actually these 2 points I was touching in 20 minutes during my talk.
And you're based in Germany?
I'm based in Germany. I can also tell where I'm working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you based? What projects are you working on?
Yeah, I am originally, I have a scientific background in the semiconductor industry, but since May 2017, I am part of the Horizon team, formerly called Zen Cash. And there I am in the business development. In the business development division. There we try to find new partners, collaborations, but my focus for Europe is like see it as a technology point of view, because as we all know, there's a lot of scams, hypes, and you especially know a lot of shitty altcoins there. So this is why I'm trying to use technology and facts from technology perspective to convince people that there maybe is an alternative.
Okay, and so what do you see on the scalability and privacy side? What are, you went over all of the other altcoins that are using those other technologies. What do you see as most promising? And well, what do you see as the most promising scaling and privacy solutions out there?
So I have to admit that Lightning Network actually is the biggest thing, which is a latest development, because it's granting privacy, and it is it's not a sidechain, but it's an off-chain solution, which is really on the mainnet of Bitcoin. So it is allowing us to have a high load of traffic. It's giving us payment channels to do micro payments or to do fast transactions. And this is one big development, but nevertheless, from the zero knowledge world, this is what I mentioned, there's coming a new approach, which is also coming in your presentation, is the Schnorr signatures. So we see this also in Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, sorry, they went ahead. So I know.
Right. So you mentioned that. So Bitcoin Cash, I mean, I don't pay attention to Bitcoin Cash because it's going to go away. But they have apparently implemented Schnorr signatures into Bitcoin Cash. Now, Bitcoin will eventually also implement Schnorr signatures. It's only a matter of time.
Exactly.
So what is your view on Bcash implementing Schnorr signatures? And what is your general opinion on that? And then I'll give mine.
Also, we talked about it already, so it's maybe I will.
You can
take
jump the
my-
gun, then I won't have to give my opinion.
No, no,
If
no.
your opinion matches my opinion, I won't have to say anything.
I will stick to my previous standpoint, so then you can correct me there. I was mentioning that actually that it was a good step, like going ahead, just doing it instead of like starting a big discussion or big drama about it. So this was my standpoint, my original standpoint, and you corrected me already. But
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
it wasn't a correction. I just gave my opinion. My opinion is I had no idea Bcash implemented Schnorr signatures. It's really irrelevant what Bcash implements because everyone knows it's not Bitcoin. And the fact that they can easily implement whatever they like just shows the centralized nature of that chain. For example, I can see Schnorr signatures being somewhat contentious to implement on Bitcoin because there is a lot of people on Bitcoin that don't want to change it. And the fact that Bitcoin is very difficult to change is what gives people confidence and security that this currency is actually here to stay. So it's great that other altcoins are implementing, good technology, but just because they implemented it doesn't make them better. It's that sometimes it's the difficulty to add even good technology is what will make the value of one Bitcoin go up, and it will continue giving people confidence that this is the currency you should be using. Though having said that, I can't wait to get Schnorr signatures into Bitcoin, and you agree with that as well.
Yes, and I want to add up there that if someone is going ahead in the industry, I think the most dangerous risk or the problem there is that they start some inside trading. It was also discussed in the conference here. That obviously with this rushing step, it's actually kind of an information advantage which is abused in speculating of the price. So this is also a downside with it, which I had to notice here at the conference. But generally, I agree with you. Slosh signatures are very important generally for any cryptocurrency project. And in my presentation, I showed also that Lightning and liquid approaches, like the liquid platform from Bitcoin, are steps to increase privacy by using off-chain or side-chain approaches. So,
well, you know what? Since I have you on, how familiar are you with the inner workings of Schnorr?
small signals is not so much, but I can give some basic understanding of the cryptographic.
Well, no,
approaches
not that far in, but more from a perspective of why do we need Schnorr signatures?
Oh, the biggest advantage is that in Bitcoin now we have an opportunity to do smart contracts or things which are similar to smart contracts. And actually, you can look it up in the GitHub
Repository.
in the
Repository.
repo, in the GitHub repo from Lundberg. He is giving a two-sentence summary of how it allows now the implementation. It's because in normal transactions, we have a multi-signature collated address, and the key is also collated and can be used, as a signature. That's why we say small signatures, because it can be signed by several partners, and this kind of chain of signatures is allowing us to do, smart contracting, to say so.
I didn't even see it that way. I always saw Schnorr signatures as giving us more scalability because now the amount of space that transactions take up in the block get optimized. I saw it as a privacy solution, and I saw it as a quantum resistant solution. I didn't even think of Schnorr signatures as being a tool for side chains and onboarding these scammy ICOs.
The thing is that the root is the BIP62, and in BIP62 they are actually mentioning, I think, more than 7 problems there. And one way to solve this, or to have a solution for the BIP62 is Schnorr signatures. And yeah, you can do a lot of things. It's also allowing this, what you are saying, that I can, if I use transactions with small signature, I can make them smaller because of this the signing, like the process is making it more efficient, it's true, but it also allows you to put in additional operations. Yeah, for example.
Okay, so another question. What privacy-focused solution would you like to see added onto the Bitcoin code?
Since the project which I'm working is coming from Zcash, I know
With Zcash.
from Zcash.
You're working
yeah,
on
or-
Zcash.
No, Zencash,
Zencash.
Horizon, but our technology,
Zencash.
Horizon, and Horizon is now the name, I think.
Oh, Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon.
I'm not familiar with Horizon.
No, we had a rebranding, so
I am sorry. What was it before Horizon?
Zencash.
Zencash is that protocol built on top of Zcash.
Yes, and why? Because we're using the CK Snark protocol. And I know a lot of the Bitcoiners, they say, or Bitcoin maximalists, they're saying we had a setup procedure. So actually, we are not really, like trustless. So we had a Genesis procedure.
Right, the trustless setup that requires trust. Yeah.
But coming to this point, it's important to point out that Eli Ben Sasson, the group, is doing research on the so-called CK Stark. And what I really want to see, or please Bitcoiners show me, that there is a way of implementing CK Stark in Bitcoin, because if this is possible,
probably isn't, unless it can be done with a soft fork. And we discussed this as well. It's not about the best privacy. It's not about the best privacy code. It's about the best privacy code that has an inkling of a possibility of being implemented. And no matter how good ZK Snark or ZK Snarks, or no matter how good Mimble can possibly be, the fact that they are just not implementable onto Bitcoin makes them almost irrelevant. And the only solution is to create an altcoin, which economically I can't see competing with Bitcoin, because it will never reach the level of decentralization that Bitcoin has already reached.
Yeah, okay, but then you know the answer. Then you have Lightning Network. Lightning Network is going good. Then my wish is from the Bitcoin maximalists to show more and more that the Lightning Network is working. Please show me that we are getting away from the centralized authority, because from my understanding, if we have less Lightning nodes, it is somehow centralized. So
I agree. The number of Lightning nodes needs to be in hundreds of thousands, if not tens of millions, in order to keep the system decentralized. I couldn't agree more. Having a small number of Lightning nodes is very problematic. A small number of Lightning nodes could be even more problematic than a small number of Bitcoin nodes. So I'm with you there. And our mission and the conference that I'm putting together in Malta is to try and get more people to run more full nodes, and especially more Lightning nodes, which I am still learning about.
But maybe also a question: is it incentivized? Do I get some kind of payment shares for the Lightning Network? Because I'm not so much in the Lightning Network technology.
Yes. So it's up to you. It's up to you on what you want to do with it. Being a Lightning node and a Lightning hub with a bunch of payments going through it, you, as far as my understanding of it, and again, this is why I'm trying through this conference so I understand it better. My understanding is that as a Lightning node, you could charge a micropayment to reroute people's transactions. You could also pay people a micropayment to reroute through your transaction. So you can say, why would someone pay to reroute transactions? While if some of these nodes are kind of malicious, like if JP Morgan wants to have a node and wants to pay people to run through the node, they can have some very valuable information. On the other hand, I believe in decentralization. I run a miner knowing that I lose money on my electric bill without any actual mined Bitcoin, because I'm just a single miner. But I am willing to pay to keep the network decentralized. So obviously I can't compete with JP Morgan paying people to reroute their transactions through JP Morgan. However, I am happy to allocate, let's say $50 a month to my Lightning node and pay people to go through my Lightning node, and because my Lightning node will provide those people additional privacy. Because the more privacy I can provide to strangers, the more private my transactions will be, because it will be harder for the authorities to map everybody out. So I think there will be enough people that are motivated to keep the system more anonymized, and they will be willing to pay for that, and pay for strangers to anonymize their transactions. And again, we're talking micropayments. We're not talking spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because you're a nice guy.
Okay. I have to admit, Lightning Network is okay, but there are other.
There's still lots to learn there, and we're both very interested in it. All right. Thank you very much for stopping by, and good luck to you guys over at formerly Zencash, now Horizon. All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you. All right, let's see what else we can grab. Let's see if we can get those girls over and see what they're up to. Yeah. All right, let me, all right, fine. You guys got your wish. Let's go interview the girls or the ladies. Let me not get my channel banned. All right, this one goes on me, and there you go. You got a lot of hair. Perfect, right there. Excellent. Yes, we have a live audience. All right, thank you so much. You are on the Tone-Based channel. Tell us your name and what company you're from, and what are you guys presenting here or advertising?
Hello all together. My name is Tamara. I am working for the Crypto Summit. We are organizing events for more than 15 years in the online entertainment area, and since last year also in the crypto blockchain here in Mallorca. The last 15 years we did events in Berlin, in Vienna, in Mallorca, very successfully, and now we want to move on and go more.
And those were crypto events?
No, they were only in the online entertainment.
Online entertainment.
Exactly.
Okay,
so telecommunication, lawyers, dating platforms.
Lawyers are online entertainment?
No, but they're all included. Somehow we are all connected, no?
Yes. So is this going to be your very first cryptocurrency conference?
It's the second one.
It's the second one. So where was the first one?
Last year in Mallorca.
Last year in Mallorca. Okay, how was the turnout? Pretty good?
It was good, yeah. For the first show, it was good.
Who were your key speakers at last year's event?
I haven't attended it last year, so.
Oh, you weren't there. Okay,
I wasn't
got
there.
it. All right, so what are you looking forward to discussing at, so when is this year's event?
It's from the 26th to 29th of May, end of May.
Okay, so it's at the end of May. Okay, and so who are your key speakers for this upcoming event?
Well,
again,
coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Excellent.
Coming soon.
You're still
we are
recruiting the
organized
speakers.
like this year. It will be a combination of the online entertainment branch and the crypto branch. We will combine those two events together. So there will be a lot of interesting persons and from different industries.
And what is your personal experience with the crypto space? Do you own any Bitcoin? Do you own any altcoins?
No, I'm not that much included in that industry. Like I'm pretty new, and yeah.
Okay. Have you been listening to the presentations here, or you haven't had a chance to?
No, I didn't.
I here for work.
Yeah, I think you had a speech at 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
They put me out first. It was close to the 10 a.m., but yes, many were still sleeping from their parties.
Okay.
But yes, try to catch the videos from the presentations here, and hopefully we can turn you into a Bitcoiner.
It would be nice, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me get that.
You can take it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. That was one more interview about another conference here in Mallorca. We have a little island, seems to have a lot of events. All right, guys. I think I'm done. I think it's time to listen to some presentations. I don't know who else I can bring to you for interviews. I can go and look around real quick. Go ahead, throw some questions. Oh, let's go back to screen share for a second. Oh wait, I'm wearing a mic. All right, so as you can see, the current hourly candle has pulled back up, and we've seen this time and time again where the setup trend line acts as this weird support that is constantly pierced, but it takes forever to close below it. So I'll probably stick around another 13 minutes out of curiosity of whether this candle closes above or below the setup trend line. I don't normally care about differences of 1 penny or $1, but in this case, I care about it a lot. If this candle can pull all the way back up and closes a green candle in the last 13 minutes, that would be significantly bullish going into the next few hours. But if this candle closes below the green line, it is significantly bearish over the next few hours. Hi. What's your name?
Sandra.
Sandra. Hi guys,
Hello.
meet Sandra. And this is that's the conference. That's the next Malta event, so check that out. All right, awesome. Do you have any Bitcoin, Sandra? No. You can speak, you speak Spanish?
Spanish, yes.
Okay, you can say in Spanish.
Yes.
We have, it's a global audience. So say a few words in Spanish about the event and
Yes,
about
yeah.
your experience in crypto. You can talk in Spanish.
No understand.
No, okay. Need a translator. All right. I wish I spoke Spanish. Damn it, guys. I've been trying to learn Spanish. I've started my Duolingo in Spanish several times, and I always gotten too busy and couldn't keep it up. I really got to learn Spanish. If she was Russian, this would have been so much simpler. But unfortunately, we needed a Spanish translator. All right. So let's go back to screen share. And as you can see, this candle is being pulled back up. This is a good sign. Having this nice long wick is a good sign. Let's see if we can keep the moving averages from crossing, because if they cross, that's not very good. And we will take it from there. Let me see if I can get a quick interview in, because I do want to stick around 10 more minutes to see what happens with that candle. I know, because I don't have a runner, man.
You should get one.
I know I should, but like we're all broke Bitcoiners at this point. I can't afford someone to just run around and find people for me to interview. All right, there we go. Not as pretty as the other people I've been clipping it onto, but it's
true.
okay.
That's all right.
All right, I think I was still on screen share. Let me stop screen share. All right, guys, we are back with another interview. Tell our people your name, where you're from, what do you do? Go for it.
Hey guys, thanks for inviting me, Tom. My name
You're
is
welcome.
Dennis. I'm from Germany. I do like a German YouTube show. It's called Bitcoin Informant, and I do like 5 days every week, little news about what's happening in the cryptocurrencies scene. So I basically choose three main topics: what's happening, what's interesting. Do a podcast, do a video, and so people can just listen in the car and see what's happening without doing all the research. Because these days there's so much happening in crypto, and many people just want to get the news, like watching the news on television or on radio.
And Dennis, your channel is in German,
Yes.
and Germany is my fifth largest
Yeah.
audience of my channel. And you and I had a little conversations over the big blocks, you know,
Yes.
Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash.
That's right.
Where do you stand on this debate? We're not going to do the debate here. You've watched my debate with
Yes.
Roger. You've seen my other debates. So where do you stand? Okay, let me say, where did you stand on the big block debate when the network split? And has your view changed from then to now?
I mean, for me, it was, I like the big blocks. You know, I'm not sure if it's going to be a long-term solution. It might be. Some people believe that bandwidth is going to increase and everything is going to increase, and might be true. I don't know, but I remember the days in December 2017 when I wanted to send some Bitcoin around, and the fees were ridiculous. So I just didn't use Bitcoin
I agree.
back then.
I agree.
And that really, for me, was a no-go. So when Bitcoin Cash really came about, I like the idea of having bigger blocks because it got rid of the problem now. So I personally would have wished that there would have been a block size increase to avoid high fees and basically keep people using Bitcoin, because from my own personal experience, I didn't want to use Bitcoin, but I liked using Bitcoin, especially when the price was high. I like to spend it. You know, for 1.1 Bitcoin, you could buy a lot of things. You know, and now we had another split. You know, with Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash.
Well, we're gonna get to that,
Yeah.
but let's stick with the first split, right? So, so your view. So this is why you preferred the big blocks when that happened. That happened in 2018, right? The August of 20.
Yeah. No, 2017.
No, 2017. The network split in August
Yeah.
of 2017, and the high fees came
December.
in December. So Bitcoin Cash was already around during
Yeah.
the high fees.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it came earlier. I don't remember anymore. But okay. And what is your view now?
I mean, I want to use coins. You know, I want to
So
spend
which
them.
one do you use more often?
I spend Bitcoin Cash more often because there are lots of ways to spend it these days. The fees are very cheap. I mean, with Bitcoin, the fees are cheap too at the moment. I think.
Well, with Bitcoin, the fees have been cheap for over a year.
Yes, that's right.
I've been paying sub 5-cent fees for a year now.
But even 5 cents is quite a bit, you know. I mean, it depends. Where I got some friends in Africa, and 5 cent fees. I mean, it's too much for many people, you know. And
how often do you send Bitcoin Cash to Africa?
Yeah, not that often. That's true. Yeah, for me personally, sure. Yeah, but I think it's important that we have different experiments going on in the cryptocurrency scene, and the chances that there's one chain who's going to be dominant are very high. And as we spoke today, and you said on stage, I mean, the chances for Bitcoin to win that race are, I mean, there's lots of brain power behind Bitcoin, behind the developing. I mean, it's the #1 coin for a reason, right? But I still think it's important to have different ways, different ideologies coming here and and even like Aaron said on the talk, it's good to have competition to keep the other guys in check, so they keep on developing, right? And I think competition is good in any way.
Okay, so you like to spend your Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
Which crypto do you like to save for the long haul?
Steam. Because I like the Steam blockchain, but obviously Bitcoin. I mean, I've put Bitcoin aside for my kids, right? Because I want my kids
Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash?
Bitcoin, both, obviously. I mean, but Bitcoin is for me is a long-term play, right? I mean, it's
exactly.
Yeah, so I don't need to use it today or tomorrow, really, because it is kind of investment for me, right?
Exactly.
And it's definitely not cash at this stage. And Lightning,
right, you spend the cash
Yes.
that gets devalued, which is why if I had,
that's why you spend Bitcoin cash.
which is why if I still had my Bitcoin cash,
You
if
don't
I-
have them?
Oh, I sold it all at 10% on the second week I could.
Oh, okay.
So I had no, like, I honestly thought Bitcoin Cash would never go above $1. And when it did go above $1, I had to break into my cold storage and like sell all my Bitcoin Cash. I did it as fast as I could. I sold it at 10% on the dollar, right?
Okay.
So I increased my Bitcoin whole hodling by 10%.
Nice.
Over the next few months, I could have gotten 20%. So I felt like an idiot for a minute, but then after that, right now, I believe it's somewhere hovering between 3 and 5%, something like that. So yes, I'm with you. I spend the currency that I think will devalue the most, and I hodl in the currency that I think will appreciate the most. And I'm still waiting for when Bitcoin transactions are sub fractions of a penny,
With
hopefully
Lightning.
with Lightning, and hopefully with Schnorr and Batch 32 SegWit. Like even without Lightning, if the industry is to adopt the latest technology without the hard fork, we would probably have 1 penny or less transactions even today. But a lot of the industry is very, very slow in making changes. All right, so let's talk about the latest split within the big block camp. Now, I was so disappointed in 2017 when Jeff Garzik canceled the 2x fork, because we could have had 3 big blocker chains right now that are all fighting with each other. So unfortunately, we only have 2. It's hilarious watching the Twitter back and forth between Calvin Ayre and John McAfee.
Yeah, I showed you the picture. You remember what it said?
Oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. We can show it on the screen. I can't say it, but if you were to put your phone up, but if you find it,
yeah.
oh boy, like
Yeah, but it's kind of
you
true,
know
right?
what, you know what? Let me not. I might meet him one day. Like, you know
Yeah,
how,
yeah,
you know,
we better not show
do you
it,
know
right?
how, do you know how hard it was to get Craig Wright to unblock me on Twitter?
Okay,
And now it looks like he's canceled his Twitter account.
yeah.
It seems to have disappeared. So, which side of the big block camp, Craig Wright, Calvin Ayre versus Roger Ver Jihan, which is now just Roger Ver and Rick Falkling, I think. So where did you fall on that split, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the videos with Craig saying there's going to be no split, we're going to bankrupt you, and I mean, Craig is lots of crazy talk. You know, when you listen to him, sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes you think, what is he talking about, really? You know, and I actually believe that there's going to be no split, right? And then I saw it unfolding, and I realized that it's ideology. The ideologies are,
it's completely
different.
different ideology.
So, and Craig, he likes government. He likes the whole I side more with the anarchist side of things, you know, like with Bitcoin Cash now introducing privacy and all that stuff with the what's it called, neutrino wallet or whatever it is.
Neutrino?
Yeah, and I just tend to go in that direction because I don't like the state that much. I don't like taxes that much, you know. And Craig, he seems to be like, he wants to please governments, in my opinion. He wants to I don't know.
Yeah, you would think the guy who's Australian tax authority raiding his house with guns would be a little more anti-government.
Yeah,
but he seems to be, you know, assisting governments in validating transactions.
Yeah, true. I mean, I went to the Bitcoin SV conference in London just to see what kind of crowd is there, you know, and it's not my crowd. I mean, they want to professionalize the cryptocurrency scene, what they say, they want big blocks and they want data on that thing. And it seems like there's lots of changes and happening, although he says he wants to lock down the protocol. But for me, if I look at Craig, he's a weird person. I mean,
Do you think he's Satoshi?
I don't know. I spoke to the many people at his conference, and they believe without a doubt that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. And I asked a few people, asked them, why do you follow Bitcoin SV and Craig Wright? And they said, because he is Satoshi. They believe it with conviction. And I can't do that. And it's just like Vitalik, he said it best. You know, he said, if Craig is Satoshi, it wouldn't increase my opinion of Craig. It would lower my opinion of Satoshi. Right, and I basically, can second that.
All right, very cool. So, so you obviously, do you have any Bitcoin SV?
I still hold them. I didn't sell them. So after the splits, I didn't sell anything. I just keep hodling them, see what happens.
Okay. What other coins do you like in the space?
Steam blockchain. You're not a big fan of Steam?
I think I was the first very loud critic of Steam.
Yeah.
multiple videos, multiple articles, and I kind of ignored it since then.
I mean, Steam for me is like it's a social community on the blockchain, and you get paid basically to
It
create
doesn't
content.
bother you that they're paying you in money that they print, and
No.
and between 5 and 10 people keep the majority of the new money being printed?
Sure, I mean, there are some issues around that, but it's for me, it's just an easy way. If I create content, an easy way to make an extra income, right? So if you have a little following on Steam, you can make, it depends, a couple $100 a month, you know, and because you get the half of the money you get paid is Steam back dollar, which is always around $1. There's no point in holding it, but I take it out, I spend it, I use it to buy food, to buy some other stuff,
you're
you know?
selling this token that one random guy is printing, and it doesn't make you feel bad that someone is buying this from you, could be hodling it, and will eventually lose all their life savings?
Why would they invest all their life savings into one blockchain? I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean, if someone wants to buy Steam, hey, be my guest. If someone wants to buy Bitcoin, be my guest, or whatever, you know? There's always two sides of the coin, you know? One wants to sell, one wants to buy, and I mean, there have to be experiments in this scene, you know? Maybe Steam will be massively successful in a couple of years. Maybe they will disappear. Maybe they will disappear, you know? But for me, I make a couple $100 with it. I can spend it, I can use it, and that's what I like about it. It creates a little economy where you can spend money which you make just by sharing content, and that's what I like about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for stopping in. If you guys speak German,
tonight we're gonna get Tone really drunk.
Oh yeah, it's a you know what? It's a hard task only because Tone has built up a tolerance of constantly drinking at events. But other than that,
drinking with Germans, you haven't been drinking with Germans.
Yeah, that is true. But especially when they drink beer and I drink tequila, so this is going to be very, very interesting. All right, guys. Price of Bitcoin. Let's go check it out one more time. Oh yeah, get the Irish guys. Get the Irishman. Speaking of drinking. What a beautiful candle. What a beautiful candle, guys. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. Huge pullback all the way up. Gave you a reversal candle. I wasn't watching it. I would have been all over it. Again, don't panic until you close under the moving average, until you close under the setup trend line. That is a very bullish candle. And I got some more victims right here. Come on over. This is going to be fun. Get one more chair. One more chair. All right. Dude, this is going to be great. So this is the short mic. So grab that one. Right. I'm going to slide in here. I'm going to put my mic right here so everybody can hear you. Can you help? You got it? All right. Perfect. You got the thickest Irish accent, dude. Have anyone ever said that?
I get that a lot. So I think roughly.
I occasionally feel like I need a translator, man.
Yeah, it's, I think the idea of traveling a lot, though, you have to try and balance out your communication, and you end up flipping accents quite quickly when you travel, or at least try to, especially with the American accent.
All right. Well, so the three of us met on the blockchain cruise. All right. So go ahead, tell our viewers your names, where you're from, though they should already be able to tell, and what do you do in the space, and how's the traveling life going?
Well, my name's Max. I'm from Scotland, and we basically been in I get that a lot. About 8 out of 10 people think I'm Irish, though. I
thought you're Irish.
Well, basically, where we come from, a lot of the people actually moved to Ireland, so they take a lot of the same terms and terminology, and the accent follows. So.
Oh my God! So it's like a half Scottish, half Irish.
Yeah, very similar. It's not from the south anyway. So.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So it's a bit mixed up again.
All right.
Yeah. So.
All right, Max, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, we've been in the space for quite a while, probably as long as yourself, just floating around, meeting people, and so discussing the value of Bitcoin and how we can basically bring it to a wider society. And it's been a long, interesting journey, and we've seen it evolve over the time. To I come from something that was so small to what it is now, essentially.
Hello, so I'm Kirsty. I'm from Scotland as well.
I've been in the scene for a few years, just floating around, going to conferences and networking really. So my background is actually engineering project management, but I decided to leave that because crypto was really cool. So I just go around and try and sort of change what I'm doing. So my interest is actually in business strategy. So I recently started my own channel, which is Crypto Flamingo with a K, and I'm trying to do like analysis.
Oh, that explains the necklace that you're wearing.
Oh, flamingos are my favorite thing in the world. Like literally, usually you spot me at a conference because I'll have flamingo dresses, trousers.
If you ever go to
jewelry,
Vegas,
everything.
if you ever been to Vegas, there's a hotel called Flamingo.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's all pink and everything. Yeah, next time you're in Vegas, you probably want to stay there. It's a little
definitely.
old, but yeah, it'd be perfect for you.
Oh, brilliant, definitely. So yeah, that's my thing really. I just review businesses and go through strategic analysis stuff. So.
All right, so what are you guys are working on now?
So right now, I'm testing out a lot of stuff with the Lightning Network, sort of getting some nodes fired up and seeing how the whole system's going to come together. And been sort of looking over some other open source stuff for replacements for Slack because proprietary data services suck. So basically, the idea of building a new stack with Slack and having individuals and companies able to actually control their own data, which I think would be a benefit to anybody.
So tell us a little more about the Lightning Network because I'm still learning a lot about it. We're having this conference, Understanding Bitcoin, in Mallorca, basically. Mallorca. I'm in Mallorca. In Voltar. In about a week or so, where Lightning is one of the main topics. We're going to teach people how to set up their Lightning nodes and how to use the Lightning Network and have a panel explaining the Lightning Network. It'd be great if you can come through Malta April 5 to 7, but if not, tell our viewers more about Lightning. Do you think it will decentralize Bitcoin more? Do you think it will create these cheap millions transactions a second? Do you think it will add privacy or take away privacy? What is your general view of Lightning?
Well, I think Lightning as a secondary solution, it makes a lot of sense from pretty much every perspective. Because when we have the obviously on-chain transactions are limited to the number you actually put on it in a decentralized manner. But with Lightning, it actually has some extra effects with, especially with privacy, because it's the way the payments are routed through Lightning. It uses basically the same protocol as Tor. So once you actually open a channel with somebody else on the Lightning Network, we have a situation where that money can be passed back and forth between different parties on the Lightning Network, and the value itself is being transferred between anybody essentially, and we don't actually have to worry about on-chain analysis of small payments. I mean, one of the bad things about Visa and MasterCard is we have a situation where they can use data analysis to work out what the likelihood of you buying coffee is at Starbucks on a Thursday morning. They probably know what you're going to purchase before you purchase it. And when we use Lightning, we can basically avoid all the data sets that's been built out from that, and it actually increases privacy massively on the Bitcoin network. And
I didn't think about it that way. That's very, very interesting because you're right. Because all of our payments are centralized, institutions and governments know exactly how we're going to spend our money.
Yeah,
and when we don't spend it that way, that,
you don't like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it sets off flags.
Yeah, I think that one of the fundamental things I was saying actually earlier was basically the most interesting thing about Bitcoin and the blockchain space generally is actually a red herring. What we actually want is no blockchain. Because the more data is there, the more data you can analyze, and the more data sets that people build and assumptions around that data. So Bitcoin would be brilliant if it didn't use a blockchain at all, but that's not quite possible. So the idea of giving people more data is actually a bad thing. So we could try and minimize the data sets, minimize the information, and more privacy is always a good thing for the individual sovereignty.
Right. And what are your thoughts on the whole block size debate that took place, and what is your view on altcoins in general?
I think it's like a splitting operation between the wheat from the chaff, essentially. So I mean, all like the best engineers in the world are working on the highest level protocols for a lot of this technology. And as you start splitting out the resources, it becomes almost pointless as you go away from the main chain. When I think one of the best quotes was Bitcoin as a single source of truth. So when you start splitting away from a single source of truth, it becomes more of a blanket statement, essentially.
All right, it becomes a social media propaganda war as to which coin is best, instead of being united to actually try to change the financial system.
Yeah, exactly. The idea of having a single point of reference is what this is all about. When you start separating it into other nonsense is almost pointless. There are some validity in a lot of some projects, like maybe 1% of stuff out there, if that. But as a when it comes to finance and money, then anything else as a store of value or actually transactional method for payments, I think it's almost pointless. We don't build the internet. You don't go to a plug in the wall and plug in your computer and get a website from it. We have layers to make this work in a like more controlled manner. That's kind of how the whole world works.
Very cool. And, all right, well, we'll get some project management in 1 minute. I got one more question for you. So so you understand decentralization, you understand data, you understand how we don't have infinite free data storage.
Yeah.
So where's your view on the block size and Luke Dash Jr.'s continuous statements that 1 megabyte is too big and it endangers decentralization and we need to immediately lower the block size?
I understand where he's coming from, but like lowering the block size is like it's not where it sits right now is not massively threatening to decentralization. It's in the realms of acceptability, but like I can understand the premise of lowering the block size as it goes back to the same argument. It's better to have no blockchain at all, but we have to have a blockchain to actually make the whole system work. So I think I can see the premise, but I don't think lowering it going to have any major effect on people running more nodes essentially. So.
All right, gotcha. So let's talk about a little bit about project management. How are you dealing with all of these, blockchain and Bitcoin crazies in your world?
Well, at the moment, it hasn't really merged through, to be honest. Like, I haven't been working in project management for a while now. Like, as I say, like my more interest is in strategy and actually reviewing how businesses operate. So, like, when you're talking about currencies and stuff, like there's so many different companies that have invented these tokens just so they can get money, basically. And when you read the white papers and you review the project, there is no merit in them. So when we're talking about like project management, business processes, people don't actually spend enough time reviewing how they're going to make a sustainable business that has value to like the economy, and I think that's been highly overlooked. And when like you're talking about like dissecting the project down and looking at all the different stages and things, they just don't do that. So yeah, I think like more people in this space need to actually review a company rather than looking at it and saying, oh, it's a good name, it's worth investment, and like actually make something that's solving a problem, like really, it doesn't just fake it.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Feel free to give more thoughts. This is great.
Like it's just one of these things, we need to really plan more and make projects and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to add? Where can do you guys have a company? Or just kind of?
Well, this is the problem. Like, it's a paradox, I think, because the most important things I think in this space require and that need to be done. I don't have the capability to do them. I'm aware of that. But the things I can do, I think a lot of these projects are going down the wrong trajectory on their business and stuff. So if we can find a space in between where we can get more open source projects to give sovereignty and freedom to people, not just finance, but also communication. Should have been a solved problem, but it's not. So.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, and see you on the cruise.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Unless you can make it out to Voltar.
Thank you so much. Take care. Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm getting close to the end here. There's always people to interview, of course. Oh, that's mine. And let's go take a look at the price one more time. Oh boy, again, not a good looking candle. We survived our last hour. This hour is not starting off strong. So while I would have been somewhat bullish going into the current hour is once again not great. But until you see the hourly candle close below the green dotted setup trend line, I will remain thinking positively. And you can see how the moving average projections are still not crossing yet. As long as this can rally back up, we will be okay. I'm not going to be with you for the next 45 minutes, but keep in mind that I will remain bullish if we can keep closing above the blue line. I will be bearish if we close below the green line, and if we close in between them, then I remain neutral until I see a 1 hour candle close in this vicinity. Like it's too early to tell. The last candle, those that were patient and didn't panic, You recovered the range of that 1 hour candle. The low was 37.57. The high was, sorry, 39.57 was the low. 39.76 was the high, which is very close to the close, which is at 39.75. So if you are a very short-term trader using 5-minute charts, patience for that hour did save you. This candle, however, is once again not looking good. It'll be hard for us to get to a 9 candle without breaking setup trend. If we do break setup trend, the probability of a 9 is very high. If we break setup trend on an hourly chart and we get that 9, you would then have a high probability of a 1 to 4 candle pullback to the upside, followed by continued downside. So the break of setup trend gets me bearish. Staying above the rising blue moving average keeps me bullish. All right, guys, I don't really have much more to add. Otherwise, check out Understanding Bitcoin, our conference in Malta. We still have still plenty of seats actually. Max capacity is 200 people. We still have seats. The price is staying at 0.1. We have a VIP at 0.3. We also have some rooms that we pre-purchased from the hotel. It's a 5-star hotel where the event takes place. Sometime later today or tomorrow, you will see another option to get those rooms at a slight discount. So we'll have another VIP option with 4 nights of stay or 3 nights of stay, I don't remember. And then we'll have one more option for just purchasing the rooms. If you already bought your ticket, but you have not purchased the room and you would like to stay at the venue of where the conference is to be close to the action at a beautiful 5-star resort, you'll be able to buy those rooms through us as well. Carnivory dinner, of course, still has a couple of seats. You'll have to click on this to see how many seats are actually left. And because I honestly don't remember. So you can click on that. You can register for the Carnivory dinner, which is really a speaker's dinner. There you go. You got 11 seats to go for the Carnivory dinner. I believe the price is 0.075 Bitcoin, as you can see. Okay, guys. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this round of a few interviews. Now, yes, Alicia was a little bit nervous. I've talked to her yesterday. She was doing great. She does have a background in economics. She fully understands crypto, but not everyone can handle the live stream, especially a tone-based one. Even though I do try to take it easy on people, maybe I'm getting soft and old in my old age. All right, guys, I will talk to you all on the next one. Maybe a stream tomorrow. I don't know. I'm still in Mallorca tomorrow, off to Cairo on Monday, and hopefully I will do some streams from Cairo. I'm gonna take a little bit of a vacation. By vacation, I mean I'm gonna go see the pyramids and maybe a few other sites while being overly stressed out over understanding Bitcoin in Malta. And I can't wait to relax right after the Malta event. Come back stateside for a few days and then off to Mexico. Maybe see some pyramids in Mexico as well. All right, all. Thank you for watching and see everybody on the next episode of Tone Base Podcast. Later, guys.